All right, so welcome tonight. I'm Amanda Breskowitz. I'm a library assistant here at Middleton Public Library. And tonight we are doing a fun class about a database that we added last year called Creative Bug. So I like to call this class the Creative Bug Crafting class. So this is a database that is run by the company Joann Fabrics. I'm sure you've heard of the store. And this is something that people can subscribe to on their own if they'd like. And then they also have a library option. So that is what we have subscribed to, is the library version. I don't think it's really any different from the individual user. I know some databases have different ones like that, like Ancestry has different levels, and some things are included in the library one and some things aren't. But I don't think that's the case here. So we're going to start off here by going through this short little presentation so you can get a lay of the land. And then I'm also going to show it to you live. And then I'm also going to show you a project that I did off of one of the videos. So mostly this is a video-based database, so you get to look at videos with step-by-step directions, material lists, and sometimes downloads if there's any kind of file along with it that you might need to make the project. So it's fun that it can keep track of where you are in the class in watching each video, and you can go back to it later. And to get to this, you always want to start at our website. So that's www.midlibrary.org. And when you are on our homepage, you want to click on the resources tab. It's kind of in the middle of the page. And then on the drop down of online databases. When you click that, a page is going to open up that has all of the databases that we subscribe to. As a Middleton card holder, you get access to this. If you don't have Middleton as your home library, that is something that we can change up at the desk. You can also call in if you have your library card number ready and talk to somebody and ask them to change your home library. If you don't know what your home library is, we can check that too. And what it just really means is you could live maybe on the line of Madison and Middleton. So your address is Middleton, but instead of going to like Ashman, you might come here all the time. So per your address, your home library is whatever your address is, unless you've changed it. So that's kind of how that goes down. So again, you can always change that and then have access to this if you aren't a part of that yet. So once we hit the online database page, it's in alphabetical order, and you would just click on Creative Bug. And that's going to open up this next page here. And this is where you're going to put in your library card number and then your PIN number. So that's whatever PIN number you have connected to your account when you log into LinkCat to check out books. If you don't know what your PIN number is, we can't see what you had previously set it as, but we can reset it for you. So again, that's something where you can just call us, talk to somebody on one of the two desks upstairs or downstairs. We all can do the same thing, and we'll be able to reset that password for you. A lot of times, well, I guess it's really only Overdrive, so you should be able to get in right away. Once you hit the login button, then you have a nice welcome page, and you can look at what the new latest things are, or you can get right into searching classes. So this is the main homepage for Creative Bug after that welcome page. And you can see that up at the top, you do have a search bar that's going to search classes. You can change this drop down to search different things. I think like teachers might be another one. or the subjects. If you click on the tab here for classes, that's going to give you all the different topics of classes. So if you're looking for holiday things, if you're looking for baking, if you're looking for knitting, you know, it's going to go through all the different kinds of crafts that you could do. But there also is the inspiration tab, which we're also going to go over, CBTV, which is Creative Bug TV, and then their daily practice section. They're really trying to foster a love for crafting. So they do have a section where they have a new thing for you to try every day if you want to keep at it for a week. So you do a craft every day for a week or a month, however you want to do it, and brush up on skills. So that's kind of a fun section too. When you go to the Explore, that is going to give you things like new releases. Each month, they have a lookbook of all their new projects. And then they also might have other hot topics for the moment. And that's in that Explore section. And when you click on My Classes, that's going to show first your watch list. And then as you scroll down, it'll also show just things that you've started watching but never finished. And that's different than your watch list. Your watch list is kind of like your favorites. So if you find a class that you really liked and you want to, you know, pack it away for another time that you might be doing something and you want to refer back to it, then you would put it in your watch list. And then there's the gallery. Now this is always a fun place. You can post your own pictures in here of projects that you've completed from any of the tutorials. And you can also see what other people have been creating and see their photo posts. So I will show you in there a little later one of my coworkers, Donna, who works on the desks with me. She likes to use Creative Bug a lot, and she has posted some pictures in there, so we should be able to find some of her projects. So like I said, there's a lot of classes. When you do hover over that classes list, it just kind of goes on forever. And we'll take a look at those and you can see just how many. You can search by keyword for in the classes. So if you just type knitting, it's going to give you a lot of different options. You know, are you going to knit a shawl, a wrap, or are you trying to figure out how to cast on? So there's videos, you know, on just casting on if you forget. I know often I forget that if I take a break from knitting for a while and then I have to go back because I'm not an expert knitter, but it's definitely helpful. When you're in your search results, it'll tell you how many results you have, and you can also filter them or sort them. And they're going to give you a preview of each one. If you click on them, it's going to give you the summary and the information on the class. And then you can go ahead and start it right there if you want. And then the inspiration section is just, you know, all of the new releases in the calendar. It'll tell you when certain upcoming classes are going to be released. Because there are certain ones that are features. So they don't allow access until a certain date. And then there are them for each month. So this was, I think this was last year, the different releases for November and December. Within, I forgot where you found that. Within here as well, there is the pattern library, and I'll show you how you can find that as well. So there are patterns for knitting and crocheting that you can download. So that's awesome, free patterns. As far as I know, it is only for knitting and crocheting, not for other things. If you have a certain pattern for something, it's usually included in the class itself under materials and downloads. I can show you where you can find that if you have any. You can also search by instructor, and this, when you click on each person, it'll give you, you know, the background for them, and then what classes they might teach, and any other books, projects, movies, or anything else that they might be a part of where you can find more information about them. Some of these, we do have books by some of these people that are in the library, are crafting books. They are top in their field for crafters and artists that Creative Bug draws from. So you're bound to find something that's really fun and interesting. And Creative Bug TV has lots of extras with documentaries, interviews with the artists, and short videos of projects that you can't find anywhere else. So they're usually short episodes. They're not usually super long, but they've been pretty good so far. That is one of the tabs after inspiration, is the CBTV. In the corner of your page, it's usually the first letter of your first name that appears here, and that's where you can get to your account information. If you use this heavily, a lot of people like to put in information about what kind of crafts they do. You know, if they have an Etsy shop, they might put in some information about that, because you can go in and see the community of crafters, and it's a little bit of a social network type deal. You don't have to fill in any of that if you don't want to. You can be here to just watch the videos, but it is a fun additive if you're interested. So let's go ahead. I am gonna unshare and then reshare, just because Zoom is silly like that. So like I said, we're gonna go through the account live here. So go to resources and online databases from our webpage. And again, you can always unmute yourself or put anything in the chat if you have a question. This is a small enough group where that totally is fine. All right, so once you've logged in, it's welcoming me back. And again, you have your Explore, your classes, and your gallery. And then up at the top here, if you click on Creative Bug, that just takes you back to this homepage. And then when you go over classes, there's art and design. And then that breaks down into even smaller things. You know, you have ceramics, drawing and illustration, home decor, mixed media, oops, sketchy, painting, sketchbook exercises, and then they do kind of split it up between techniques, quick classes, multi-part series classes, or if you're a beginner, then they're going to recommend certain classes for you for each subject here. Within sewing, you have things like babies and kids, embroidery, holiday things, home decor, garments. There's so many things. I'll just hover over them so you can see them all. There's so many, I'm gonna wear myself out talking. The food one is really fun. They have really great baking and cake decorating videos. Since this is run by Joanne Fabrics, they are partnered with Wilton very heavily. So most of their baking and cake decorating classes all have to do with the Wilton products that you would get from their stores. So that is always, I've used these videos before for things like that. They do have a jewelry section. things specifically for holidays. So if you're looking for things for Christmas, that would be here. And that's probably going to be more like Christmas decor, Christmas projects. If you're looking for things to make for Christmas gifts, that really could be anything on this site. So it's not necessarily going to be just in Christmas. And there is a really fun kids section for crafts to do with kids. And I really like this section. Click on this here. So if you want to filter the results, it kind of goes through the different artists and teachers, class type if you're looking for beginners, and things like that. Underneath kids, they do have it split up 5 years and up, 8 years and up. If you're doing a child who's younger than 5, obviously then I think these classes would work, but then they would need an adult with, because a lot of these projects do involve scissors and things like that. So just make sure that there are parts that you would do for them. And they do have fun daily practice here. And they like to split it up between paper, jewelry, yarn, things like that. And I know the children's librarians here, they have used, I think, some of this in creating some of their things before. And I know a lot of the adults take out crafts that we have been doing for the last year and a half during the pandemic here. Some of our ideas have come from here as well. So you might recognize a few things every once in a while. So like I said, in your search bar at the top, you can do classes, images, or instructors. That's how you can search. So other than the classes tab, then there's the daily practice. So they have a few different series here for you. If you noticed when I was in kind of the different types of classes, they also usually had their own daily practice as well. So that's 2 different ways that you can find that. But I'm going to go ahead and click into, let's see here. I click into the stamps one. So if you notice over this box here, you have a play button. So that's where the video is going to play. As you scroll through, you have the description. And then if I want to click here, I could see the chapter. So if you wanted to actually jump around, maybe you only needed to know a certain thing, or when you go back to the video, you just want to remind yourself of one part that you forgot. You can get to it really quickly instead of trying to drag back and forth throughout the class to find it in the video. And then you have a materials list if there are materials. And then you do have PDF handouts if there's any kind of handout or pattern, things like that. There's the gallery of things that people have done with this class. And there is a discussion section. These teachers are really great at getting back to you when you have questions. So you can put things in this discussion section. And sometimes you can also, within the description, doesn't look like this person here does, but sometimes the teachers will put their email address too, if they allow people to contact them directly. There is a note section that you can write down anything that you want to remember for next time that you look at this, or that you want to remember when you're making the item. And that saves it in your account. And if this is something that you wanted to put on your watch list, you just click watch list and then it would highlight itself, that pink magenta color. There is a transcript for the class. And you can download the whole transcript if you also do better with seeing that, if you're used to doing closed caption kind of thing. And then again, there's the download button for any handouts. So there's multiple ways you can get those handouts. And I'm just gonna quick play one here. So you can kind of get an idea.
Hi, I am Sarah Matthews. I am a printmaker, book artist, and educator. I really love exploring layering and color in my prints. In this daily practice, we're going to be spending time making stamps, making prints, and learning a few bookbinding techniques. By the end.
All right, so it's just an example there. So you can scroll back and forth in the video. You can go back 10 seconds. You can do volume. If you have other devices that you can use your Bluetooth to connect to and put this up on a different screen or something, you can do that. I'm on a Mac here, so it knows that, and it puts up an AirPlay button for me. So if I wanted to AirPlay that to a TV, I could. And you can also turn on the closed captions here, but I have found that the closed captions within this video software that they use is not as good as just downloading the transcript and reading the transcript. So I mean, you can use it, but I would definitely caution that it doesn't always get it right. All right, and you can make this full screen too if you wanted it bigger instead of within the browser here. So let's go back. So in our resources section, first of all, it shows you the calendar here. So it looks like there is a color play painting and colored pencil video that just came out today, so you can play that. And it does look like these ones are available to play now, but they are going to be, it looks like maybe on CBTV on these dates. That's why there's a certain date. Underneath there, you can also go, here's where you can find the instructors under that resources tab. So if I wanted to click on one of them, gives any information, any links they might have. So if they have a website, whether it's a place where they're selling their things or just more information about what they're a part of. And then a list of all their classes and their gallery. So that is under the resources for instructors. There is a Creative Bug blog. They at least once a month, but it kind of seems like it's sometimes twice a month. They do some little posts about certain things. It looks like here they had a DIY Thanksgiving ideas right before the holiday. It looks like they have a new studio that they have created for recording all of these videos. So they're giving you a behind the scenes of where they moved and what they did for that. So that looks kind of fun. So lots of different things in there. Then there is the CBTV. This is under resources. So looks like they have the lookbooks featured, but there are some other ones here. They have this Camp Creative Bug series that they used for a while. And then here are some interviews that they're featuring. If you hit the view all, you can see more interviews of the instructors, which are always fun to see what else they're creating. Under resources, you can also find the pattern library. And there's quite a few things here. So if you wanted, let's see, to see the picture of this, you would download it and it opens it up for me. And so I can see, okay, it tells me what type of brand of yarn they were using. And then under the materials list, then what gauge crochet hook. how many balls approximately, what the pattern looks like when it's done. Got all your instructions and your pattern there. So really nice file that downloads, easy to print out and use. It even tells you that this is an easy level one, so maybe even I could do this one. But another place to get patterns. I know if you're a knitter, people are always looking for places to get new patterns. Then they have this class collection section, which really just is another way to search through things. So if you're looking for sketchbook things or Valentine's Day projects, just another way to search. And again, I talked earlier about the account for yourself that is up in the corner. When you click on here, you can see your recently watched list or just your favorites, your watch list. You can get to the gallery or the community this way, or the access my account. That's where you can fill in any extra information about yourself if you'd like. I'm going to go into gallery. So I haven't uploaded anything myself, but I have favorited some things. And here we have my lovely coworker, Donna, and she made this hat. This is one of the projects in Creative Bug. She did this in the spring, and it's a super cute hat. She brought it in to show us. So if you can go in and I can look at Donna's stuff, I can comment on it to her. So that's really fun. Yeah, there's a few things that I've favorited in here that I've seen people do that are just super cool, and I like to be reminded of it when I come in here sometimes. Way more than what I could do. If you're interested in the social network part of the Creative Bug, when you go to the community, this is where you can see, here are the newest members. Here are the most recently viewed crafters that you've looked at. If you notice, this also does include the teachers for the classes. And then here is just the community inspiration. So this is from people I don't know that I haven't favorited or anything. This is just anybody who posts anything. So it's kind of a fun way to see what other people are doing. So that is the bulk of this database. Like I said earlier, there's only, a few certain spots that you really need to pay attention to. And one that I just did, so let's go back to my classes and my watch list. So there is this one that I did earlier called How to Make an Envelope. So it's actually really good short instructions. This video was only 10 minutes long that I did, and it gave me a materials list, and I was able to get by with not every single material that she said to use. But if I could, let's see here. I'll stop my share for a second so you get to look at me. So I made this envelope out of a piece of cardstock. So I did the section where she says to put in like a fun little lining with a print paper. And I cut out with the pattern that she had you make in the video, and then fold the paper and glue it in the two spots here. And then I put in there, and then I just decorated it to make it kind of fun, to look a little bit more holiday themed. So that's an example of something that you could do. It's as simple as in the paper section, just making an envelope. They have lots of fun things for making cards. Really anything. You can learn how to bookbind if you're interested in how to bookbind. It's really one of my favorite databases. I love crafting, and so do a lot of people on our staff. So we have used this heavily, and I invite you to use it as well. Are there any questions? Not seeing anything in the chat. I don't hear anyone having any questions. All right. Well, then that's our class. Thank you so much for coming. I love sharing all of our databases with everybody. So definitely look around and have fun.